Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go with the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen in attendance, boxing fans joining us around the world. It's time for the bout you've all been waiting for. Finally, it is showtime.
Here, man, we dedicate our life to this sport. We do thousands of sit-ups in camp. We run hundreds of miles, for the ones that take it serious. And we just dedicate ourselves fully to our craft, man. We watch tape. We have attitude. We moving, and we go into that fight just to land on the line.
Boxing fans, this is the Rope-A-Dope Radio Podcast. I am your host, Chris Carlson. We are live on a Tuesday afternoon. It's getting to be a normal time to do the show. I apologize for those who like to listen live, but it just works well for me. Anyway, we are back, like I said, on a Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back. And we have a lot to talk about. I mean, a whole lot to talk about. The weekend was filled with a variety of just spectacular moments. Obviously, Gervonta Davis with the spectacular, to use that word again, knockout over Leo Santa Cruz in a very competitive fight. The highlight reel went viral. You had Magic Johnson and LeBron and a variety of others talking about it. Gervonta definitely set the world on fire there. Speaking of spectacular knockouts, though, a perfectly timed counter punch by Inoue on ESPN Plus iced Moloney. There are a variety of other fights that we'll talk about. Some on the undercard. Usyk outboxed Chisora, had some rough moments early in the fight to an extent, but got control of it, moved really well, and like I said, controlled the action. The Munguia and Johnson fight, I got to see a good chunk of it, but the DAZN app, well, we'll get into that. It's funny, for like the first year and a half or something, no problems, like basically at all. And now I'm having some issues, but I think I know what the problem is. I just can't watch it that night. I can maybe watch it live, that's okay, but that night going in there, it's like it's got to wait. But anyway, enough about my problems. Like I said, so we're gonna talk all about it. What's next for some of these fighters? Inoue, who's he gonna face? Usyk. It sounds like he's pretty hell bent on forcing Anthony Joshua to fight or drop the belt. Gervonta Davis. Well, Gary Russell Jr. found his phone to go on Instagram, and it sounds like he's got his pen in hand this time. We'll see. Where that goes. So we'll talk, like I said, a variety of stuff. We do have some fights this weekend. Devin Haney and Eurykis Gamboa on DAZN. FS1 actually has an interesting prospect versus vet card that I like. In the main event, Luis Ortiz returns. Not really that interested in the actual fight. Some prospect heavyweight stuff. But this is actually, it was supposed to be Ruiz and Ariola. Remember we talked about that a couple of weeks ago with Jake Donovan from Boxing Scene. So not really much to say, hey, this is going to be a great weekend. But let's be fair. We've had October, we've had a string of great action. And really, for a while now, I'm trying to think. Basically since August, to be honest with you. This is kind of a mild weekend, no doubt. But you never know. Maybe we'll get something that shocks us or stands out, or obviously Devin Haney has a chance to do something earlier than Tank could, for whatever that counts for, but it does count on Boxing Twitter. And then a couple other items as far as, outside the ring. The biggest one as far as Wilder speaks, Deontay Wilder released like maybe a 2-minute video or something like that. Not a whole lot of surprises there. It's funny, we already knew he had excuses. We already know that. And we already know that Glovegate exists, right? We already know a bunch of this stuff. We know that he didn't feel right, and we've heard rumors of spiked stuff, bought water bottles and stuff like that. When I say rumors, I'm saying people talking about it, not that I'm actually hearing that it was actually spiked. So what he really said, he just put it in a video, but he really didn't. It wasn't a whole lot new besides who he was calling out Breland, you know, his former trainer, as far as the actual water bottle. I think that's different. But for me, it's like we'll talk a little bit about it, but this subject has been talked about a whole lot, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I know some people are leading their podcast with it because it's a talker, but I don't see anything really shocking that's new. Yeah, I don't really see too much new out of this. I think it's the same old, you know, Wilder who cried wolf, right? It sounds like a cry wolf thing. And not even that, but like if you're going to go this route, and part of me thinks there's a small part of me that thinks it's trolling and it's going to build the third. I mean, it's going to build the third fight regardless if it ever happens because people will run with this. You know what I mean? But some people think, that he's not mentally right. Some people think he's just a super sore loser. I don't forget, you know, what I heard and read about George Foreman a while back, you know, years ago now, but what he said after the Ali fight, Vladimir Klitschko, you know, after he lost, he made a big thing about his drink and all that and stuff was all messed up. So not to say that Wilder isn't going off the deep end, but it may not just be, people are saying, CTE, and it's like, well, I mean, sure, we are dealing with boxing. I mean, he's probably not, if you're saying he has it, there's probably some really nice guys that would be humble and take their loss and still have CTE. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I really don't totally know what's going on, but we'll talk a little bit about that. Real quick, though, if this is your first time listening to the Rope-A-Dope Radio podcast, welcome. It streams live right here on blogtalkradio.com/Rope-A-Dope Radio. It streams live at Archives. It's basically the headquarters. For those who care, we do football and basketball as well throughout the year. But you don't have to go to Blog Talk on Rope-A-Dope Radio and download the show there or listen to the browser. You don't have to do that. You can find the platform at Apple Podcast, on iHeartRadio, Player FM, TuneIn, Stitcher, really all across the board. We're also part of the Grilling Truth Sports Podcast Network, which can be found everywhere, including Spotify. While you're at it, why don't you head on over to thegruelingtruth.com. It's boxing, it's football, it's baseball, it's basketball, it's everything in between. And one more thing, if you're thinking about cutting the cord or you're not quite happy, I got something for you. It's called AT&T TV Now. It's live streaming cable. They have this 7-day free trial. There's no annual contracts. The plans start as low as $55 a month. You can stream it anywhere. They have the cloud DVR. And right now, if you sign up, you do get a free month of HBO Max. Here's another layer to the deal. If you sign up for the AT&T TV Now Max package, you already get HBO Max plus a free month of Showtime, which is normally $11 a month. That's AT&T TV Now. Okay. So, couple of things that kind of crossed my mind when it comes to the biggest fight of the weekend, Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz, obviously on Showtime pay-per-view. They did manage to get over 9,000 folks at the Alamo Dome, and the venue's great for a small crowd. Normally I wouldn't say that, obviously, but to be able to pull it off, you know, you have to have a pretty large stadium. Obviously, boxing's a little different than, say, you know, an outdoor stadium or a big indoor stadium on a football field where you have 100-plus yards, right, to be able to sit around. And if you're in the upper deck, it's no big deal. But if you're at the Yellow Dome and you're in the nosebleed, you're looking at the screen, it is what it is. But even though it wasn't jam-packed in there for obvious reasons, although it would have had a nice-sized crowd. Of course, they probably would have done it in Staples Center. But I got to admit, it was nice. It was nice to hear it, and it did add to it, no doubt about it. And even though it was pro Leo Santa Cruz, I mean, there was Gervonta fans, obviously, but you could really hear no, big surprise in San Antonio. I did like how they had, Barrios, and I did how like they shaped the local fighter, the regional fighter thing. That actually made a difference too for the crowd and getting into it and whatnot. But it was nice, I gotta say. And we gave credit to Top Rank and Bob Arum for coming back when nobody was back in June and July. And you could say whatever you want, that it was mediocre product overall. We had some upsets, we had some good fights, some okay fights, whatever, and then some just 4 and 6 rounders that it was bad. But it is what it is. They still went first. They still had to overcome some stuff in the amount of main events they lost from COVID and then injury. It wasn't the exact schedule that they had even planned. But either way, we gave them credit for that. So we're going to give credit to the PBC for being the first to bring back like a fairly big crowd anyway, in these times. So right off the bat, that was pretty cool. And there was 2 things. Leo Santa Cruz, was he going to be in this fight? I talked about how there was plenty of people saying he was completely shop-worn, completely past his prime. He's a nice guy, but he has no business even. It sounded like they were saying, why is he even fighting anymore? And I guess after a knockout like this, making some good money and all that, I guess you could make that. I mean, anytime someone gets slept, there is some possibility that you're not going to fight again when you're in your 30s or whatever. But I thought he got, downgraded a lot. And he won rounds. A lot of people had this thing 3-2. He was in the fight, and he made a mistake in the end, sure. But if you've seen Leo Santa Cruz fight defensively, he's not the most sound guy, and that's, I thought, was the biggest problem. But Tank, the other thing with Tank was he looks 100% focused, but we got to see him on the scale, and we got to see him on the ring. And clearly he was on point. And, I tweeted this after, and I've said this many times about him. I tweeted it after the Gamboa fight, too. You got to be 100% in the ring to show yourself like that. And he's still, a young fighter, relatively speaking. And it's not like he's taking beatings and stuff like that. So, to be turned on fully and show what you have, the speed, the explosiveness, your skills, when you can put combos together, you got to be 100% tuned in. And he clearly now has the message. He's been really hit or miss with what kind of shape he comes in. The Gamboa, that great, yada, 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 right? Now we're going to see if he can keep this focus. And I like that he's talking about just training in Vegas every time, or maybe even moving out there for a good chunk of the year. And especially over the winter, it's still going to be hot enough there to where you can go for a run and get a good sweat. No, but I like what I see out of his mentality after the fight, too, saying he's going to take about a week or 2 off and then get back in the gym, and we'll see. We'll see. But as far as the action goes, I did give Davis the early rounds. Clearly, he was trying to land the uppercut early and often. A few right hands and some jabs by Santa Cruz. I just thought really the last half of the first round, the harder shots were Santa Cruz. I thought it was pretty. Or I'm sorry, we're Tank Davis. Then I did give Santa Cruz the second. I thought his jab and some of the body work that he was doing, was doing something there. I believe that was the round that Davis threw down Leo there for a second. Davis was a little bit on the move, and Santa Cruz kind of bringing it to him. In the third round, you had Leo with the long jab. I thought he did that pretty well. Davis had his jab going too, but you could start to see he was landing some really clean shots again. He didn't really do as much, Davis, in the second round. The fourth round was a back and forth round. That was definitely a back and forth round. A few really solid flurries by Santa Cruz may have won the round for him. Early and late, some uppercuts and hooks that landed for Tank could have won that round. That was a close round. The fifth round, Santa Cruz got off to a good start and had some late combinations. But the combination punching, the uppercuts obviously by Davis, the pivot and circling that he was showing there in the fifth round too, was enough for me to give it to Davis. And then the sixth round comes around. Santa Cruz is actually doing really well in a good parts of that round. He's landed his jab, he's landed his right hand behind it, he landed some left hooks. I think there was like a low blow in there because Davis was doing some body work. I believe there was a low blow. And then all of a sudden, you could see that Leo Santa Cruz is, near the ropes, then on the ropes, and he threw a right hand, and then threw another one. And Tank just came up under. It looked like he was going to go to the body. Kind of looked like Leo was kind of bracing for that because he knew he was out of position. Especially that third one. It was just it was a weak punch that he shouldn't have thrown. And bam, the uppercut landed with just sheer accuracy and speed and just lights out. It was like a half a hesitant or, like a hesitation, and then he's done. And he just walked away. And the thing about boxing is you go, oh, you're like, whoa, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, he's not moving. Okay, let's now focus on Leo Santa Cruz here. And it kind of reminds me, Ricky Hatton did a lot less, obviously, but that type of feel where you're like, wow, Pacquiao just landed this crazy punch on Hatton. And there was probably 8 or 10 people in the room, and the whole place erupted. But that landed, after it landed, we saw him fall. It was like, whoa, and then all of a sudden it calmed down really quick, looking at Hatton on the ground. You know what I mean? So, and that's how boxing is, man. It's up, it's down, it's all over the place. Once we saw Leo, come to off the concussion and smile and look okay, then you're like, okay, now we can. And that's why they always obviously wait to show the highlights. You know what I mean? They can't have a guy or a gal, for that matter, on the ground, hurt, and showing highlights of it. You know what I mean? You got to wait a little bit, right? So, wow. You can say what you want about Tank, and there's plenty to say. Lack of discipline in and outside of the ring. But when he's turned on, when he's fully turned on, there's only been a handful of fights where he wasn't. You can basically tell pretty easy with Tank. And this guy at 130 and 135 is dangerous to anybody. I tweeted that after the fight, and I even got a couple of direct messages. Somebody texted me that didn't want to say it on Twitter or something. It was kind of weird, but they're already but they're all getting defensive about the 135 pounders. And I said he's dangerous. I didn't say he's the top dog and he'll one punch KO. It's funny how just timid everybody is when it comes to this stuff. Teofimo had his weekend. Now Tank's got his weekend. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. But if anybody gets caught with that punch, it's either curtains, like they're not going to be able to finish the fight or get up probably, or they're going to be concussion punched. Now, saying that doesn't mean that I think that Shakur Stevenson or Haney or, Teofimo Lopez, whatever, Loma, I'm not saying they put themselves in the situation where he's going to throw 3 right hands and lead himself. I'm saying if capital I, capital F, if that punch lands on anyone, it's curtains. You're either going to be likely out, or hurt to where you're not getting up, or you're going to get up and you're going to be in trouble, and he's going to jump on you. So when he's turned on, I think he's the most dangerous guy, and that's saying a lot because Teofimo has that one punch knockout too, like crazy too. Both of them, I'd say that's where I think that's fair. I don't think that's really stretching it, right? Saying Teofimo and Tank for 130 and 135 are the most powerful guys. Now, we got to see Ryan Garcia and if he can do that. on the higher level. You know, he's done that, but not guys that are top tier, top 10 guys or whatever. But phenomenal ending, phenomenal everything, man. I mean, that was ridiculous, man. That was freaking ridiculous. But you know, I'll say this, like I said, Santa Cruz, you know, he got disrespected. The guy was doing really well. And now he's in a situation where, you know, his father obviously has gone through some tough times, and, you know, they've already had a couple scares with him, a scare a couple years ago, a scare this year. Right now he's not doing that well. So, you know, thoughts and prayers. And I'm not saying that empty, you know, so much of that is said on Twitter for, you know, other events in our country, but really thoughts and prayers go out there. And this is another thing that you saw Tank taking that step towards maturity and saying, you know, the real champion is Leo's father, and saying a lot of respectful things after, because Leo fought his ass off, dude. Leo fought his ass off. Now, we all knew this fight. Any fight that Tank's in can end in a vicious knockout, but you can't tell me he one side whitewashed him, because he won rounds. I mean, I think he won 2 rounds, at least one, but he fought really well. It was going to be a bad matchup for him. I don't think size played as much, because, you know, there were times when he's coming forward, but there's time where he's circling and pivoting too. And obviously the time shot, he got hit, sure, but I don't know. I just think that, well, anyway, it was a great fight. Now, you know, or it wasn't a great fight. It was a 2-way scrap that was entertaining and had a highlight reel knockout in a card full of, you know, knockouts. So we will get to what's next for Tank, and when I go through all this stuff, we'll kind of cover that up with when we talk about the Usyk and the Inoue and all that. I'll just kind of get through, you know, some more of these fights too. And it was, I'll tell you what, it started out with a surprise. All 4 knockouts, which, you know, you don't always see that. The casual friends definitely like that. Regardless, that's just how it goes. But I mean, part of me was a little disappointed in the first fight, because I thought it was going to be a good test and be competitive fight for Isaac Cruz. And on paper, it was may have been, I think it was the second closest on paper at the betting lines, maybe the third closest. So it was supposed to be competitive. This was supposed to be a good fight, Diego Magdanello and Isaac Cruz, but Isaac Cruz came out and just put on this body attack that was just relentless. And before you know it, I mean, he's landed hooks to the head and body, but mostly body, with both hands too. And next thing you know, he's on the ground, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Oh, my God. And Magdanello was, like, on the rope, like, within seconds, it felt like. And Cruz, you know, this fucking guy, then he had, like, a double left uppercut for the KO. It was a wrap. First round, I was shocked that it was so early. Not shocked that he won, but, wow, Isaac Cruz put some folks on notice. Now 21-1. He's not an old guy with that record. Well, I shouldn't say he's old, even with, 23 fights or something. But this guy is a guy that you look at his record and go, whatever. But, I mean, this kid's coming up. Huge win from Isaac Cruz. And obviously at 135, right, that's where he's at. There's a lot of talent out there. We'll see where that goes. But, man, at some point, Cruz and Gervonta would be a good fight, I think. But anyway, moving on, Regis Prograis and Juan Hernandez. Hernandez, you know, didn't really get much accomplished in this fight. This was more of the showcase variety. Prograis did have an issue getting that last little bit off for weight. So, and he did talk about how, it's his fault. Tuesday, because of the COVID thing, he didn't know he was going to. I don't know. He said, I can say this, but everybody else made the weight. We know it's a different weight thing now, but, when I say a different weight thing, I'll explain a little more. We all know, that the whole setup's different. I think they did a really good job on the Charlo brothers when they showed it was just this empty room with a bike and a treadmill. So, it is different. It is different. You're not going to necessarily get the saunas. But you have to prepare for that. Benavidez talked about that too, but you have to prepare for that. And you could have done, I lost weight as a wrestler in my bathroom. I just turned the heat on, turn into a sauna, do push-ups and sit-ups and jumping jacks and freaking mountain climbers and just sweat. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But, we are starting to see some folks this happening too, but still, professionalism is professionalism. There's no point. To be fair, Regis said, I have some reasoning. It's not good enough. It's my fault because everybody else made it. So he did own up to it. But he came out looking for the knockout. Hernandez had his jab pumping early and often as much as he could. Left hooks to the body and head by Prograis. By the end of the round, the first and the second round, actually, he was starting to already land that straight left hand, super, super hard. And, maybe, Hernandez would get off to a good start, but then, boom, he'd get caught with something. And that's kind of what happened early in that, what was that, the third round or something like that? Yeah, it's the third round. Got off to a pretty good start. And just got caught with the counter left hand that dropped him. And Hernandez went down hard. Prograis, we know he's got a lot of power. 25-0, 21 knockouts now. He had a flurry after that TKO. It was a wrap. So the second fight played out much like I thought it would be. I thought he would be able to take care of him within probably 6 to 8 rounds or something like that. Or something, like that too. Which he did, right? But the others, the first fight, I didn't. I liked that we saw some action and it was fun. And I still liked it because it was a surprise KO, but I just thought it would go, longer. Now, what I thought would be a good TV fight turned out to be just that between Mario Barrios and Ryan Carl. It took a couple of rounds, I think the third round, until Carl actually won a round, but he was landing in spots early in this fight. The cleaner puncher was Barrios, clearly. But there was two-way action in the fight, the second round for sure. That's kind of a dumb way to put it. There was action in this fight. Well, if Carl's in a fight, there's going to be action. And he was kind of already getting, by the second round, already trying to make it a little rough and tumble. You know what I mean? But Barrios was timing him really well, and I thought he was actually working the body really well, too. You could probably say that Barrios overall landed the better or the harder shots, probably. Yeah, the better shots in round 3, but the busier, and I think the guy who finished stronger was Ryan Carl in the third round. So I think that's the only one I did end up giving to him, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, but, that's not to say, like I said, Carl didn't do his thing. He was still getting off. He just, by the time the fourth and fifth round, you could see Barrios is taking over the left hooks to the head and body. He was just kind of more under control, landing his shots, pivoting. It was just a fun fight, you know what I mean? And Barrios in that fourth round, I think with about 30 or 40 seconds left, hurt Carl pretty good. He did bounce back, Carl, actually in the fifth round with a jab and a few nice lands. I'm not saying he won the round, but I thought he came out better than I thought he would because it was like, oh, okay. I thought maybe he was going to be done. But overall, Barrios still, landed the better shots. And then 20 seconds in, there was a knockdown. Carl landed several right hands after the knockout. There was a clash of heads, really bad cut above Carl's eye. I thought it was right between the damn eye, but then I saw it was a little off there. And then I think it was two left hooks while they were exchanging, just dropped it it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So, they were trying to say, oh, it's too bad Carl got a cut because he was going to make a big comeback or something. I saw some people saying. And the broadcast team alluded to it too as well a little bit. I mean, he had a good fifth and sixth round. I'm not saying that, but he did get knocked down early in the sixth round. But he landed several right hands back. That was what was fun about it. But if you look at the body work overall, 37-2. Talk about headhunt. Barrios was all over that body. And then same with jabs, 101-24. I mean, that's a lot of lands. 126-64 overall, 43% to 18. So that's basically, it was just the sharper, faster, better fighter, obviously. And Barrios needed a night where he didn't have a crazy two-way fight like he had. I think he needed this to kind of get over the hump of his last fight. So overall, though, I was happy. I was happy with it. I knew it was going to be action-packed. I did think that they needed that first fight to turn out, and not be some kind of just boring fight or something like that. So we got a surprise, but yeah, I'd say my only complaint would be that the first fight that it didn't go long enough. But like I said, Isaac Cruz, it's still a surprise. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not saying it's a bad fight. I'm just being selfish. That's all. I wanted to see more of it. But Cruz was like, nah, dude, you don't get paid for overtime. And I'm a young, dangerous dude who came up. People look at my record, and it doesn't look great, but he's a young guy. So a lot of these folks, I mean, how many times have we seen a Mexican fighter, lose some fights in the first 16 fights, first 10 fights, whatever. I mean, Canelo fought freaking Vasquez early in his career, who turned out to be a champ at lightweight. So I mean, like, they just come up a different way, and you have to respect it because that's part of their development. And sometimes we say, oh, once a fighter loses, we just throw him out. Well, if a fighter's losing like from age 16 to 22, how much can you really take in there on the pro level and even on the amateur level, right? Because that's okay to lose in the amateurs, right? You can still be a good pro. So this Cruz is going to be a handful. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, so I like the card, and like I said, I think Leo Santa Cruz was really disrespected from a handful of these folks, especially Mannix. I told you that he literally said that he was shot in a shop-worn, done fighter, just done. And it's like, really? Now, I never said 130 was his best weight. He's much more comfortable at 126, but at least he had time he had a fight there, and he did have all this year to be comfortable with the weight. So he looked pretty damn good in the fight. And I think that people thought it was, who thought it was going to be a one-sided slaughter, clearly that didn't happen. As far as like Gervonta, where's he going to go? Actually, I said I was going to kind of cover the top three before I'll kind of get through some of this. So let's get to Inoue against Moloney. There was a long break before the main event, and it really didn't add up to me. And it's funny because this fight only went, 7 rounds? And the other one went 6 rounds. So if they would have started it, it's just weird to be like, well, we're here now. We know that the main event's going to start here kind of soon on the other thing. We're going head-to-head. Let's put in some, like, long-ass promo, So that was kind of weird. And I could see why they did some promo stuff off that first fight, on the pay-per-view card because they only went 1 round. But that was the kind of a scratch-your-head moment. It's like, hey, why not just do it? Why do we have to have such a long break before the main event? It's not like it's a big fight. And you might as well get as many people now, But anyway, it is what it is. Obviously, Inoue dominated this fight. He was jabbing, kind of flicking with the jab, then a couple of nice ones, a couple decent lands or whatever. Moloney landed a nice left hook. And actually a few right hands I'll say, too. He did in that round, but not enough to win the round. Speaking of right hands, hard right hands and uppercuts from Inoue was really doing the trick, no doubt about it. What the heck? And, shit, what the heck, man? It's kind of freezing up on me. Huh. Okay, right now, dang it. Okay, anyway, I just got a message saying they're having problems. I just refreshed my switchboard. We'll see if that does the trick. But anyway, hard right hands, uppercuts. He was Inoue was landing hooks, more uppercuts, and by the fourth round, he really started to unload. You could start to really see, okay, I'm going to start to ramp this up. And then a big right hand, maybe the last 40 seconds or so, really rocked Moloney in the fifth round. And I think it was a left hand knockdown, probably 30 seconds or so into the round. And then several hard right hands, by Inoue before the actual, perfectly timed punch. And that's what it was. It came off like a counter, straight down the pipe, right hand that just landed perfectly. I mean, he really put it on him. And right now, I see a handful of folks that came in the last 5 minutes. I am having a little issue with my switchboard, but I'm going to try to. I just got help, so I think I'll be able to unmute you guys and everything like that. It's showing me a screen that's up like a normal screen, but I'm not able to even hit the damn button to unmute you, or mute you, I guess, but you're already muted off the bat. So please be patient with me. And actually, let me make sure I'll return the help thing again to make sure. But I mean, like I said, it was just picture perfect. Picture perfect, man. It was phenomenal. Just frozen, and it was done. It was over. So Inoue gets the job done in spectacular fashion, no doubt about it. Michaela Mayer won over Bronishka? I think that's what it was. I would probably give her opponent the fourth and the seventh. She landed a couple of decent shots on the inside. But other than that, she, Michaela was landing the better shots. She actually was going to the body, sometime really hard, sometime kind of shoe shine. You could tell, even in the locker room, you could tell that she was bracing herself for an inside fight because she was working on stuff that the opponent, was going to get close to her. She was going to land a punch and then clear space and then land another one. I saw her working on that a couple of times. And for the most part, I thought she did pretty good with that. It got a little rough on the inside, but like I said, I thought she was just in control, winning the rounds, using a combination of in and out skills. And she may have not landed her best punch all the time. Both of them were kind of missing a fair amount. I think that's the biggest thing about Bronishka. She was just missing too much. And Michaela was just better. She was just better overall. I don't think that was, up for grabs. I had it 8-2, maybe 9-1. The scorecards were at 100. Two of them 100-90 and 99-92. And then Coria, this one threw me off. So Coria against Conceição, was it Conceição? I think that's how you say that. This one threw me off because I don't think Coria won all the rounds or nothing like that, but I didn't see him losing this fight. I gave him the first two rounds. Well, obviously you got to give him the first 3 out of 4, right? Because there was a left hook. Well, I thought he won the first round. Left hook that dropped him in the second round. Maybe you can give Conceição the pressure. He He was doing all right with the pressure. I thought he landed some better shots, some nice hooks. He did have a nasty cut on his lip in the third, but then once again, well, you know what? The 10-8 round was, yeah, that's right, because it was a low blow deducted. That's right, but that was a great round. That fourth round was a great round. So really, and I remember having a little question mark there. That that one might be a 10-9 round. I'd have to watch that again because maybe Conceição did actually win that round. But I thought Correa won the fifth round. There was some close stuff in here, though. I'm not going to say, because then it flipped to the other side. They were exchanging, and some nice uppercuts, a close round, nice uppercuts by Correa. But Conceição, he was landing these wild hook shots, and they were finding a home. And so I definitely gave him that round. Seventh round, I thought there was more exchanges, but I thought the busier fighter, the better shots was Correa. Going back to the eighth round, I gave that to Conceição. He landed the harder shots for me. Now, the ninth round, that was close because, early in Correa was doing damage, but he didn't finish as strong. So that's a swing round right there. Really fun last round. But overall, I had it about 6-4. And I'd probably go on the 7-3 than I would 6-4. Well, yeah, I'm pretty, let me see here, dude. Yeah, I go pretty healthily 6-4. Obviously, there's a knockdown in there. There's a point deduction. In the point deduction, it seemed like it was a little early. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough and looking at my phone, looking at Boxing Twitter on something or returning text or something. But I didn't see, usually it's not just one warning anyway. And it's not like there was an early low blow that dropped the guy and they had to take a big 4-minute break and so, hey, you do it again, you're going to get deducted. So I could see something there, but either way, 94-93 and 95-92. So they were in favor clearly, not of Correa. And I did think he won the fight, but it was competitive. I wouldn't mind seeing them, double up and doing it again, to be honest with you. So we'll see. We'll see if that were to happen. But I was a little close fight. And like I said, the fourth round, that is debatable because maybe he shouldn't have gotten that point deducted that early. I'm trying to think. I'm going through the first 3 rounds in my head, and I'm like, was there a really bad low blow that I just don't remember? Did he get all these warnings? I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, he won the fight. Like I said, I'd like to see a rematch. But it is what it is. Let's see here, and I'm still waiting on. I literally can't. There's not even the correct buttons to hit to let callers in right now. So if you guys want to hang out, I'll try. I should be able to get you guys in once I get the help through Blog Talk. So they're fixing it right now. So hang on. I apologize. I know there are some people that want to speak and give their mind here, give their take. Let's move on to DAZN. Well, here's 2 things about DAZN. So for like I mentioned, I think I mentioned this last week, maybe this week before, but DAZN, I never had really any issues with DAZN for the first year and a half or something like that. And I started having issues this summer when they came back. So what was that, late July or something like that? I started having some issues, and here's the issue. So I can watch the fights live. If I'm just watching them live and I turn on the broadcast, I'm usually pretty good there. And mind you, that first year and a half that I said I had no problems, I saw a bunch of people with problems. I didn't have any problems. But now I'm having issues with it. And like I said, I've taken it on, taken it off multiple times. I go to other apps. I'm watching the Showtime app. I'm watching, I have streaming cable. So, I'll know if my internet's just fucked up. So it's definitely not that. And so my point is with Munguia and Johnson, I watched a little bit of the first fight, but it would just freeze. It wasn't buffering. It would just freeze. and it would be a blank. It wouldn't even show the screen. It would just freeze, and it'd be a black, like fade to black. And then it'd pop back on. Or it would restart the whole card, or just restart, the individual fight. And so I set some more time out to be like, okay, well, usually the next day or two, especially when they put it in individual fights, on the archive, then I'm usually good. Then I'm usually don't have problems. And that was the case with everything else. With the Usyk card, no problems there. But for whatever reason, I just couldn't get through Munguia and Johnson, and I just didn't. Timing-wise, I didn't have time to go look for it on the internet and do it. I only had a little bit of time there. So, and I kept taking it on and off just to make sure it wasn't that, and trying to get help for it. So, I don't know. I don't know what's up with that, but I'll say this: I did get to. I watched the Selby and the Camposos fight. And the Camposos fight was actually on the long one, the 6-hour card. And so I watched the individual one for the Usyk Chisora, and I had no problems with the app at all. So, and I noticed, who was it? Was it Wood? I think Wood said he had problems with his app, but I think that was live. I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about the fight. Usyk Chisora. I give Chisora the opening 2 rounds, the pressure, the combinations to the body. There was a late straight right hand in the first round. Second round, Usyk, to me, he didn't have much zip on his punch right away. He was on the move. He was busy, but he just didn't have a whole lot of zip. Took him a little bit to kind of adjust, which is no really surprise, because Chisora was going to try to steamroll him and push him into the corner and all that. So he won the second round off like an overhand right and a couple of punching with the free hand in the clinch. I thought he did that pretty well. He closed stronger. But then I think I only gave him 1 or 2 more rounds tops, because then you really started to see Usyk make the adjustment. He started, using his jab, double, triple, with the pivot or just a scoring. Now the fourth round, that was a close round, and I think I gave that one to Chisora. He was boxing well, Usyk, in spots, but the body work and the right hand's kind of a whacking right hand in the overall body attack. I still maybe thought he won that round, but that was about it, dude. I mean, Usyk then started pumping his jab, double and triple it. I think he got the adjustment he made was a couple of them that I talked about a little bit, but he had a better distance. And then he started bringing out that overhand or straight left hand. And from there on, he was pretty much in control. Landed the jab with some hard hooks and then be on the move. And he kind of dip in and dip out and circle and reset. And then I thought he was in complete control, landing hard combinations, dipping in and out, sticking and moving, mixing up the speed on his punches. You may have given the 10th round, maybe. With a few, maybe a couple more nice lands by Chisora, but that was it. You could see after that round, though, Chisora was just getting tired. There was even that moment where he started walking away from Usyk, and he literally kept walking. It was like, hey, you're in a fight. Okay, I'm back. So when I saw that, I said, that's obviously Usyk turning him around, just outboxing him, and that's obviously what he's got to do at this weight class. So I had it 9-3 for Usyk. Maybe you could go 8-4, if you gave him the first, second, fourth, and 10th. But, I'm comfortable with 9-3, whatever. Scorecards had it 7-5, 2 of them. That was a little funky. 115, 113. But hey, we've seen a lot more funkier, right? And then 117, 112. I thought it was just a very sturdy performance by Usyk after those first couple of rounds. Like I said, he was just in control. He boxed beautiful. That's what he's going to have to do in all these fights. I'll say his body, though, didn't look great. Not to sit there and say he was chubby or nothing like that. But I don't know. Maybe it was just the first couple of rounds, but overall he didn't his hand speed to me seemed a little short of it. Now, he's dealt with some injuries and he's had some time out of the ring. When was that fight with Witherspoon? Now that I think about it, but because this fight was going to happen like in the spring, right? So, all in all, a very good performance. I don't know still yet if he can. We don't know if he could take too many big punches because Chisora couldn't land it. Now, if he's taking on Anthony Joshua, who can't cut the ring off, if he's on the move the whole time and he scores points, he might be able to outbox him. Wilder is not as technical as Anthony Joshua. We all know that, but he has quicker feet, and at some point he will get to you, even if it's about like taking some quick steps towards you to close the gap. But I think if in fact it is Joshua next, and that's what he was saying, hey, he's going to force the issue, I don't blame him. I mean, it's a big-ass payday, and he is the mandatory. So you can't sit there. And I know we want to see Fury against AJ, obviously. And if they can get some step-aside money or they just drop the belt, that's fine too. But it looked pretty good. I thought he looked very good for what he's going to have to do at this weight class. I just don't for sure know if the weight looked that good on him, if you know what I mean. He was a tad bit arm punchy. Now, he hurt him. He hurt him in this fight. But, I mean, Chisora gets hurt in a lot of fights, but, he did hurt him. So I'm not saying he doesn't have power or nothing like that, and it did seem like once he warmed up, he was able to be a little bit more fluid. But it's part of the adjustment with the body, and we'll see. We'll see. Real quick, though, the DAZN, Lee Selby, and Kambosos. Kambosos. This was a competitive fight, I thought. I thought it was pretty competitive. Selby came out jabbing nicely, gave him the first round. The first round was kind of not much happened. The second round, I had a question mark actually in the first round. Second round, jabbing nicely. Third round, I thought it was George, right? That's who his first name is, George. I thought he landed some clean overhand rights early and a few other nice shots that won him the round. Then the fourth, to me, the jab, a few right hands. In the jab, in some movement with some late right hands in the fifth. So the fourth and fifth, I gave Selby. Then I thought Kambosos really made a nice run. I gave him the sixth, the seventh. Looking at my scorecard. In the eighth, he actually started landing some nice counters behind his jab, some short shots to the head and body. It seemed like his shots just added up to more, if that makes sense. Was it the seventh or eighth round where the round stopped a minute early? I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the clock. I'm going, am I not paying attention here? That was kind of funky. The ninth round was close. I could have went either way, so the first and ninth. Selby, I thought I gave him the 10th round. The jabs and some really nice counter right hands. They both were landing counter right hands, actually. But I gave it to Selby. Then in the 11th round, I gave it to Kambosos. Short uppercuts and body work, whereas Selby was mostly jab. A really close 12th round. You could have said Selby was the busier, but I had it right around, because I said that there's some swing rounds in there, so I had it right around 7-5. I did think he did enough, and I thought he landed the better shots. If you had it a draw or maybe 7-5 the other way, I'm trying to look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It's a close fight. I could see a draw. I don't know if I could say that I could see Selby winning this fight 7 rounds, but I just counted about 2 or 3 swing rounds, right? So it was a close fight. Selby won one of the scorecards, 115-114. Then there was a 116-111 or 112, 8-4. But then there was 118-110, which I didn't. That was a scorecard that was like way off base to me. I didn't see how that was a thing. let's say that. I did not see how that was a thing. So I'm getting some help here. It looks like they're going to be done here really quick. You guys can still hang on because we do have some time left in the show overall. Just because the live show's ending, you can stay right here. If you're in the browser, you should dial 646-381-4990. That's 646-381-4990. But other than that, like I said, I believe that we'll be able to, chime you in really quick. And I think I don't know. It's still showing it. Let me try to refresh it again. All right, let's see here. All right. So anyway, so for Usyk, obviously, in a perfect world, AJ just fights Pulev, Fury's fighting whoever he's going to fight now, and then they meet, sometime 2021, whether that's, May or something like that, right? That's the perfect world. And Usyk, it probably would help him to get another, heavyweight fight. I don't think it would hurt him besides the fact that it's a risk from not, taking a big payday. But honestly, if they can't, figure that out, if they can't, I don't know. I see both sides. I would like to see the big fight. They both have one fight, get it over with, and then see the big fight. Now, I don't give a shit if he drops the Usyk mandatory. What is that? The WBA or the it's probably the WBO. I could care less about that. If he drops the belt, it's not undisputed. Who gives a flying fuck? It's for the lineal title. Fury's the number one guy. Wilder had a chance to fight him, he lost. Now I think Wilder should get his rematch because that's what they agreed to, but that's neither here or there, And Fury has every right to walk away, not randomly not want to fight in January or February. It is kind of random. I have to fight in December. I don't know. It is what it is. But either way, I just don't think we have to wait again. You know what I mean? I really don't want to wait more. So if anybody's going to talk about and plus, once they get the belts all together, so if Fury wins, which a lot of people think Fury will beat AJ, I mean, the most people think, the majority, whatever that is, 60%, whatever. I mean, I don't care. If they fight, you really think Fury's going to keep all the fucking belts? You think he gives two shits about those belts, dude? No. And same with Joshua. You think he's gonna, I mean, if there's a rematch, okay, so let's say there's a fight, and then they have a rematch because Eddie's talking about 2 fights next year. Well, then they're going to have to pay 2 step-asides to Usyk? I don't think so. Already, they're going to make a lot of money because it'll probably be in the Middle East, is what I'm saying. Okay, so all right, so I just got to refresh it again. It looks like it's back to good. Ooh, a couple people dropped off. They didn't want to hang, huh? That's too bad. I would have got you in, but I can't help if, there's a little problem. But I got you in. I see you 503. You don't have to press 1. I got you. But anybody else that's on and wants to press 1, it looks like it's good to go now, so feel free. There was a couple people that were on there. Kind of weird. They came in at the same time, so I wouldn't doubt if, that track record, usually one was private, one was, so I wouldn't doubt if they were trying to get mad at me for covering Gervonta before Inoue or something. I don't know. I remember a while back there someone called in and prank called the show. But I would have given you a try, that's for sure. And I did warn you that you got to stay online, so it didn't knock you off. I could tell if it knocked you off, but you didn't get knocked off. So I apologize. If you wanted to chime in, I would have let you chime in. And I apologize that you didn't get a chance to, prank call the show too. I'm quick on that mute button, so go ahead, prank call. Anyway, so Usyk, yeah, I mean, in the perfect world, for him too. Well, I shouldn't say him too, because big money's big money. So yeah, in the perfect world, to get another fight underneath his belt out of the weight class that he, needs to keep acclimating to. In the end, maybe that's awesome. But I like his chances against Joshua more than I do Fury. So, and Fury's big money. So, I don't know, man. And when I say it's over, I actually just got some messages. UK fight fans, I love you. And I want it to be in Wembley so bad, just as much as you guys do. I really do. But I'm just saying, do you really think Wembley's going to put 90,000 people in? Not for the fight normally. Of course it will. Of course it will. Don't get at me on that one. Of course it will. But, or I should say, of course it would. It would have. But that's not the case, dude. I doubt I want it to be. Shit, I work at a bar. You don't think I want this shit to improve? I definitely want it to improve, dude. Especially cold weather. You can see the Midwest now that the cold weather is coming along, although it's nice today, but the cases have gone up. So I'm really hoping that we get over this hump. But I just don't see that. I know it's outdoor. I just got another message. It's outdoor. Hey, I want it to be, man. But if Saudi comes a-knocking, I mean, wouldn't Ruiz and Joshua, wouldn't that have been cool when you could have done fans? Well, they didn't even do that for that. There's going to be more money in this than there is that. It is what it is. It is. I love UK fans. I've been huge on UK fans for so long. I've given his shout out on the show thousands of times. There are some people that just love Eddie Hearn too much or get invested in it from a platform deal. So it is what it is. And someone's, hey, yeah, that's right. Someone said, I didn't get to my boxing Twitter much last week. You're right. I kind of got, I wouldn't say sidetracked, but I kind of, I just ran out of time, man. I ran out of time. It's a live show, time show, and I just ran out of time. But that is true. I'll get some boxing Twitter going on this week, or in a handful of minutes, actually. By the way, Portland, I'm going to go over a couple news items, but then if you're ready to go, wow, that's a weird, what? Okay, sorry. If you're ready to go, let me know. If you're just chilling, that's cool too. And I'll text you just in case you're. Anyway, right now, Deontay Wilder, he came out. Really the only. We always knew the glove stuff, Glovegate, but he did. There's been people that said that they put stuff in the glove, not that he just had the glove in a weird spot, and he showed the Ricky Hatton glove. He pulled the glove thing, whatever. The Glovegate thing, we all know the glove looks fucking weird. We all know there were some issues with it, like the actual glove. They're clearly, especially the first fight, you could see that they were having issues with it. You can say that he had it down on his wrist if you want. That's cool. I mean, it's not cool, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But if you thought that, then you should have, the one thing I'll say, when you have a conspiracy theory, there are a couple things nowadays that just trigger some people. Where it can be politics, it can be this, it can be that. But, like, for instance, there could be nothing wrong at all, 100%, right? And then when someone throws a towel on a camera in a locker room, which is what the Fury team did. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I definitely saw it. And they were talked about that they did put a towel on the camera in the locker room. So that lends itself to conspiracy theory. And we are beyond conspiracy. It used to be like the magic bullet, aliens, like the magic bullet, JFK, I'm saying. Like, at least we had some premise for some of this conspiracy. Now you're just like, facts are just all over the place, And, like, we have to call it Illuminati. It's not just rich people meeting to keep poor and middle income down. We got to cause something. Well, how about just, for hundreds of years, thousands of years, people with wealth have had meetings to keep the little person down. But you can call it Illuminati if you want. That's fine. But, this is like normal shit. This is how it goes. Look at our Congress. That's bought and paid for. My point is that allows it to run rapid. Now, like I said, the first fight, if you're going to look at the gloves, the first fight was way more like, what the fuck's wrong with that glove? And, the way he was throwing his little his clothesline hook and shit like that. The point is, he was playing dirty. He was roughhousing. The first knockdown was in the back of the head. The second fight, we all know that. But have we seen people get knocked down or get hit on the hip or get hit low or get an elbow here or get hit in the back of the neck or, it's a rough and tumble fight. Now, I say that for this fight. I also say it for Kovalev-Ward. I noticed there is a thing there, and normally that has to do with what side you're on or race, right? So it's not okay for Ward to be rough to Kovalev, but it's okay for Fury to be. My point is, it's all the same to me. He just rough and tumbled him. That's all he did. I shouldn't say that's all. There's skill involved, and he did it really well. But if you're going to look at the glove, look at the first fight, not the second fight. The first fight is when it is weird. They admit having issues with the glove. There was issues with the glove. It was fucked up looking. No doubt. But, he says that there's this little, what is it? It's kind of like a shake weight, actually. No, but a little, they're saying that he had a dent on the side of his head, which he did. But we've seen dents on the side of people's heads. In fact, Garcia, I didn't watch the video, but I saw the thumbnail. And the image was a very similar image, of a dent in someone's head. So he's saying something that was really heavy. They put a dent, in my skull. Okay, is it there still? Because when you say it's a dent in your skull, do dents in your skull go away? Can you dent your skull and then you just, it's like the side of your car, you just pop it out? Like, can you just put some primer on that shit and it's just fine? You just sand it down, put some primer on it, and you're good to go. Like, there is part of me that thinks he's trolling too to build this fight, and to turn into the super heel. I guess that's possible. Some people have said that, and I'm willing to look in and take everything in and go, yeah, I process it, But we heard about the spike thing, the spike test, or the spike drink, the water. We heard about that. Now, we didn't hear who he thought he did, and I talked about the new guy he's got in his camp is the one who said, I know who spiked your water. Remember that tweet I read twice? I did it at the end of the show. I think I did it last week. And it was like, this is weird. So Malik Scott thought he was getting fired out of the camp, and he says, well, hey, I know there were some snakes in the grass. I didn't fuck with your water, but I know who did. Well, okay, so that's how you got back in the camp? It's just weird. It's really weird. But anyway, my thing about the spiked drink. So if they put something in there, it would have to be pretty potent to hit you that quick, right? So did it show up in the drug test? Assuming you had to take a blood test right after the fight, I'm assuming you had to pee in a cup too. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the protocol, there's two protocols, one for the WBC, BADA, and one for the State Athletic Commission. The piss test is the State Athletic Commission, or it should be, it was for all these years. And they did a blood test. So if you're saying there's something in there, show me the fucking test, Deontay. Show me the test that says, why was there this in there? And wouldn't have you been at least yellow flagged or something? Wouldn't that piss test have been like, what's this in there? Because you can't have downers or uppers in your system, right? Is that true? Did he get his urine sample tested? Because that's what he should. If he didn't get his urine, I'm not saying he didn't because I don't know. But if he didn't get his urine tested, and I'm not saying like pee in the cup, here you go. I'm saying taking that, they have that pee. If you felt so shitty that night, you should have fucking said, hey, I need that tested. Like, for everything. So that's my thing about the drugged water. And some people think it's like a CTE thing. When we're dealing, like I said at the top of the show, if we're dealing with CTE, we're talking about boxing, people have it. So it could be a nice, humble guy that doesn't say anything. It could be Miguel Cotto that takes off. It doesn't do the interview. Or Loma the other day, well, they did walk him down, but he took off. You know, it could be guys that are super humble after a loss, but they have CTE. So, you know what I mean? Like, I know George Foreman said a variety of stuff when it came to his loss against Ali. And one of them is he got drugged. So, you know, and I also know Vlad Klitschko too. You know, Vlad had plenty to say, you know, after his loss. And it was this, it was that, it was everything except him. You know, actually, this is from William Detloff on Twitter. He was talking about this. Just a reminder that after getting stopped by Muhammad Ali, George Foreman said the ropes. That's what it was too. The ropes were too loose. That's why he got knocked out. Even though Ali was the one who fucking spent the whole time on the ropes, right? Until late. His water was drugged, and he received a quick count. He didn't even know where he was. He also fired his trainer, Dick Sadler, and accused him of drugging him. You know what I mean? So you got to keep it all in perspective. That's what I try to do here, folks. And after the Brewster fight, you know, Vlad turned out just fine, but he had it. Just Google that. Google Vlad Klitschko, Brewster excuses. That's what I did. Just to remember exactly what he said when we were talking about this on Twitter and stuff like that. And, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. He turned out okay. He didn't have CTE. Well, he may. We don't know. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to go down for sure he's mentally screwed now. You know, some guys, you don't know, until you lose, you don't know how people are. Maybe he's just a super, super duper poor sport. Randy Moss, a lot of people think he's the best receiver all time straight up. Jerry Rice has the records. He could do more routes, but Moss, as far as just that receiver that you need for one play or one game, a lot of people think he's the best, whatever. I'm biased because, you know, he got drafted by the Vikings. But when they'd be losing, he'd quit on routes. Now, he'd take the safety in the corner with him, but he'd be like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, and he was just a poor sport, dude, you know? Now, people love his ass. I mean, there's so many people that would like to go fishing with him in Minnesota because he fishes so much. People love him in the media now, but before, remember, they hated his ass. So it is what it is. It sounds like a lot of excuses. And if you felt this really happened, you know, he said there's more to come. All right, well, let me see the piss test. I mean, I don't want to see it, but let me see the drug, because if someone drugged you, there's drugs in your piss. You see how that works? So, okay, and then I want to hear the interview from the doctor that said the dent is from this period, and that doctor better have some experience in this when it comes to head trauma, and it'd be nice if he had already looked at other boxers too. Because every sport's a little different. Getting hit in the helmet or getting hit in the head with the helmet on, helmet to helmet's different than getting hit with the hand. So anyway, a glove, whatever. So yeah, everybody wanted him to speak. I really didn't know why people wanted him to speak so much because it's he's going to retire. That was all the UK stuff. Oh, he's going to retire. It's like, dude, he exercised the rematch. He wanted the rematch. And then people say, well, he never should have, and Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman, they never should have let this, they exercised the rematch clause and they had an extension. Well, they should have put another. They need to go negotiate another extension. It's like, dude, clearly, Tyson Fury's not gonna. You have to be on board to have an extension clause, to extend it. You can't. Both parties have to agree. And remember, Bob Arum's the one who told us all this. He said both networks. And by the way, I just see your text. I'll be right with you, Portland. He said both Fox and ESPN, and it's obvious now that college football was all the way back. I knew they were going to have a problem with that date anyway. But January or the exact same weekend probably that they did the fight the first time. If you don't want to fight in January or February, then you're not going to extend the second they had to move the date. That means he was out of the contract, and he took that route. I'm not saying he ducked him, but he took that route. And this is the second time he didn't give someone a rematch. Klitschko, obviously he did. And when we talk about cheating, I got to see proof. But I'll say this. Another thing when we talk about, the conspiracy thing, when you see someone throw a towel on the camera, you're going to have some conspiracy theories, period. That did happen. I understand that opens the floodgates. The floodgates are already open. This just opens it wider. But he did cheat in the past. He did pop for remember it was the wild boar. It was the wild boar that had this stuff in it. But he got caught with steroids or HGH, whatever. And he did get caught with it years ago after the Klitschko thing. And, well, he got caught with cocaine too. But to me, that's not really cheating unless you're doing it the night of the fight. Because if you're doing cocaine in camp, that's not giving you a good thing. You know what I mean? And that wasn't in camp, I don't believe. Well, maybe it was right when the camp started. So he does have a track record of cheating, sure. But he's also got a track record of just random shit. And I'm not making fun of anybody that has depression or anything like that, but the guy says one thing and then does the other and does the other and says one thing. I mean, he's obviously has had some trouble in his life. It's very positive now. It does seem like he's very positive. He's turned his life around as far as staying in shape and everything like that, and his mental health is good. And so that part I'm really happy for Tyson Fury. He said some other stuff, this summer that was pretty ridiculous. But, it is what it is. My point is I got to see the actual proof. And if you're going to go with the glove thing, the first fight is way more funky than the second fight. But, yeah, show me. I want to hear the doctor say something about the dent in your head. Got to see the drug test. The urine would show the drug that you say was in the water bottle. Well, if you did take a piss test and you took a blood test after the fight. So it's going to be in there somewhere, won't it? I mean, won't it be in your piss if you do that? I mean, if someone's going to get, like, if you feel good in the locker room, you start drinking some water, and then by the time you get out to the ring, you're like, whoa, what the fuck? You're like faded, right? It's like, I hate to put it this way, but the date rape drug, right? That type of thing. It's going to show. It's going to show in the urine test. So he can't, like, I wish if he thought all that, keep it in your head and then release it maybe when this fight's signed, and then you can kind of use it as building the fight. Right now, it just sounds like excuses. What did I say? I didn't really actually, I kind of skipped ahead. Gervonta, I don't know who he's going to fight next. If you talk to Ryan Garcia, and if you talk to Gervonta, and you talk to Oscar, and you talk to Leonard Ellaby, it did sound like they were both going to fight in the summer, and then they were going to fight each other to close out the year. That's what it looked like. Now, I don't think they do that fight until they get a crowd back, to be honest with you. I guess maybe Saudi would put up some money. Maybe the MGM would put up some money because they're like, fuck it, dude. But my guess is that fight would have to happen with a Staples Center or MGM packed. That's just my opinion. Now, Gary Russell Jr. is another really, really good fight. Obviously, Tank's going to need some time off, so maybe Gary can get a fight in December at 130. Like he said, I'm still going to – I thought he was thinking it was actually Fortuna that he was thinking about. Actually, didn't he say lightweight? So maybe – I don't know. Maybe he'd go to lightweight. I'm not sure. I know he can make 130. But he chimed in too. So I wouldn't doubt if they put that Tank fight together at some point. Tank and Devin Haney, and Gary Russell. I wouldn't doubt that. I just don't know if it would be next, to be honest with you. It does sound like that Ryan Garcia is actually on the table. Now, how that works out, the zone and everything like that, I don't know. And I highly doubt. Not to say DAZN wouldn't put up money for that fight, because I know they would. I'm pretty sure they would. But right now, they're pretty clogged up. Like I said, I think they'd put up more money, like a lot of money for that fight. But they're clogged up right now with the whole Golden Boy thing. Of course, the Campbell and Garcia fight was made, and some other fights were made, Mia Johnson and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. Inoue, is it Casemiro? We've heard a couple different fights for him. I'm not sure if that's next, because that was the planned fight. That would have been PBC in Top Rank, but you're not going to hear that from people. But that fight was scheduled to happen. So, yeah. Let's see. I do have some other fight news, and definitely I'll catch up on some boxing Twitter. A couple of folks that I left you hanging on the boxing Twitter list. I will not do that. I'm sorry, I just ran out of time. I do have some more silly and random tweets for you. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Portland 503.
Yo, what up, Chris? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. That was nice.
Yeah, just getting my workout done. But just chilling, brother. Hey, just doing good here, bro. Rainy ass Oregon. Fucking here, admitting defeat. Let me congratulate Tank Davis for proving me wrong with the weight and in the fight. Damn. But sure, boy, man, fucking Leo Santa Cruz, boy, man, dude, this dude put it on, man, and what I love about the fight is that this dude, like I thought Leo was gonna dance around for 6 rounds, but no, here he was, met Davis toe to toe, and you got to respect that, and not only that, but in a way, Davis did win the war, but I feel like, in my opinion, but I feel like Santa Cruz won the battle just because we saw more of a Davis getting hit, and he doesn't normally get hit like that very often. I mean, you look at his eye, you know what I mean? He had some swelling there at the end of the fight, and I mean, you're talking about a light puncher in Leo Santa Cruz. So, but man, yeah. So to me, it's just Leo put it on. I can't say nothing negative about this fight. Davis showed up, man. He was looking for that one punch. He got it at the 6th round, man. He got it. That's all I can say. He caught him at the perfect time, the perfect moment. And, yeah, I just thought, in all honesty, right at that moment, I don't know if you saw it too, Chris. But, yeah. Yeah, that was one clean punch. And, but also I was saying that right before that, there was a moment, like, before that knockout, maybe like a second, 2 seconds in there. I don't know if you noticed it too, but I saw like Leo kind of gasp like some air there, and I was like, oh shit! And then that's when he was backing up and he got caught there, and I was like, oh fuck! And to me, man, I was disappointed. To me, Leo's my guy going into this fight. It's always me, Chris Viva Mexico every day. Man, it was sad, man. To me, it was sad just because that he got knocked out, sparked, and man, he looked out for a little bit. And also too, man, I wanted to, it's funny. Now I wanted to talk about a little bit of a KO protocol, like after you get KO'd. Like, why isn't that there's a protocol that you take off the gloves? Like, they were kind of just, rubbing his chest, shaking him up. And I was like, man, I was kind of like, I know I've seen Robert Garcia talk about, taking off the gloves there. And, once someone gets knocked out, that should be like protocol. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Cause like, Derek's kind of, I don't know. He was out for a little bit, man. It did look scary for a moment, man. That was one one sick knockout, man. And for casual fans, and it's good. It sucks too, man. And I'll admit this, bro. Man, it sucks now. This is like a highlight reel for Davis. So it's like, we're gonna see this constantly. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. Not only that, they had all the celebrities talking about it. That Saturday and Sunday, the whole weekend, bro. And LeBron, you name it, man. Any big, athlete, any big kind of a casual fan, they all saw it, and fuck, man. So it became viral. So, but shout out to Davis for it was just an incredible knockout. So I don't want to take too much from him because he earned that knockout. You know what I mean? And but what an incredible fight for both men.
Even in that round before because he got clipped. I know what you're talking about. Even before he got near the ropes, he had got clipped. You could tell he was effective from that shot, and then that was the start to the ending. But before he got clipped in that round, before he ultimately got clipped, but even before that other punch, he was winning the round at the start and middle.
Yeah, he was, man. And not only too, what's up with the shaky scorecards from the judges, man? What do you think about that? Did you think that was just, or it was kind of swaying one way? Like, I don't know. I'm not a big scorecard guy. Like, I just kind of let it be. You know what I mean? I just kind of go by what the fight ends up being and go by the decision. But it was like I remember like the what's up? What were the cards? I don't remember. I think they had that. I think they had Davis like wide. I think they had Davis wide, and I thought in my opinion, Leo Santa Cruz was doing better. Like kind of like after like I don't know. I think he might have stolen the first. I don't know, second, third, and maybe fourth, but I don't know. Davis said, but I thought it was a little bit closer of a fight than what the judges had, because I think I remember them just having it was just wide for Davis, and I don't know. But like you said, I don't know. 3-2 for Davis.
3-2 for Davis.
Oh, okay.
Going into the
sixth. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see the card.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just like I remember seeing that.
Maybe
I was like, what's up with that? I don't know. Yeah, it could have been, but I don't know. I thought Leo was, because he had a good output. Like, I don't know, he was throwing some really good fucking shots at Davis, man. There was some good shots. It's just that I just wish Leo just had more power there, man. He would have definitely made some noise, because Davis was getting hit, man. And but nothing but respect to both men, and what an incredible fight. And not only too, but that pay-per-view, man, that was a worth pay-per-view buy-in, in my opinion. Just like from top to bottom, the Isaac fight, the Mario Barrios Regis Progress, and I think it was solid. The way all the fights ended, pretty much all knockouts. Like, I think it was beautiful. Just before, I mean, coming off that the Charlo pay-per-view, I don't know. I mean, in my honest opinion, that kind of dragged out for a little bit. But this one was solid, man. This one was good. And but yeah, all of them got the win. And also too, man, let me shout out to Jaime Munguia, stopping his opponent. I forget his name, but he busted up his lip, man. That was a pretty gruesome, like, Halloween kind of thing going on. That was kind of weird, but yeah, he split his lip, man. That looked crazy. If casual fans are listening, they should go check out that fight, because, man, that was a good Friday fight for Golden Boy and everything. So, but yeah, man, as far as that, man, I don't have too much to say, man. I just want to also congratulate Davis one more time. It was an incredible fight, and to me, I think this was a perfect fight for him to dip his toes in pay-per-view. I think it did great, man. I've only seen positive things about this card. You know what I mean? So for that, and but yeah, man, and also too, let me comment on the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder thing. Like, I think Deontay Wilder, the video, I don't know, I don't know what to think. It's I just want to see the third fight. This is interesting now. You know what I mean? This whole glove situation, you know what I mean? And I don't know too much about gloves, but the way he was kind of showing that evidence, there was some weird, I don't know, there are some questions. I mean, everybody wants to know. But I don't know. You know what I mean? I just want to see the third fight. But yeah, man, as far as that, man, let me get out of here. And also too, Chris, let me say today's election day, so stay safe out there, Chris. You know what I mean. And everybody listening, stay safe. Everybody, just stay safe. And God bless America. Viva Ropa-Dope and Viva Mexico.
There you go, man. I appreciate you chiming in. That's a good. Everybody take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. even if something happens, we're going to just get through it. Got to get through it. Try to think of the country first. I know that's tough in times, and I know a lot of people are passionate. I'm sure passionate about a variety of stuff, but including that topic. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? There's not much. Well, it is what it is. And I checked really quick. According to Coppinger, the score. You know what? Maybe you saw the scorecard for the Showtime card, because the scorecards were 48-47, all three of them, which is pretty dope. I mean, I had it 3-2, so maybe that's biased, but for all three of them to be a point difference, 48-47 at the time of the knockdown, that's 3-2. So they actually were legit. Because could you make an argument 2-3? 3-2 for Santa Cruz? Sure. But they weren't wide. Maybe it was the scorecard, like the broadcast scorecard that you had seen. Because I was like, yeah, I guess I didn't really see that either. As far as Gervonta, though, we'll finish on fight news and some really fun boxing Twitter stuff. Fanboys really not too happy about stuff. Not even from this weekend. I still have a couple that I didn't get to from the weekend before. Ryan Garcia, this is from Boxing Scene. Ryan Garcia, I'm extremely confident I can beat Gervonta Davis down, he said, which, no surprise there. He said, I'm extremely confident I'd beat that boy down. He's just a big bully. Although, at 135, how tall Garcia is, he's pretty big for his weight, too. We all know we both can knock people out, that's for sure. We all know we can put people to sleep that don't belong in the ring with us. But one day we got to step up and go against someone who can also get slept. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get in there and give fans a fight they'll remember for the rest of their lives. He said it didn't even make my pulse go up when he said solid knockout. Don't run away from specialness, he said. I can hit like that, too. He said. So, of course, that would be great if it were to happen. We'll see. As far as this weekend, like I mentioned, it's pretty light. Actually, the one that I'm kind of prospect level anyway, what is it, Staniosis? Is it Staniosis? In Justin DeLoach. Anyway, it's like he's had 10 or 11 fights or 12 fights as a prospect. Taking on Justin DeLoach, who actually just fought in August in a first-round knockout of, Castillo. He was an unbeaten prospect, but he tore him up. So he's back November 4th, tomorrow, Wednesday, FS1 card, heads up for that. November 6th, this is kind of weird, St. Petersburg, Florida, Impact Network. The Impact Network was supposed to have an Impact. But this is a next day tape. So it's a tape delay, which is kind of funky nowadays. But it is what it is. Then, of course, Devin Haney and Yuriorkis Gamboa on DAZN. So we'll see. Another thing that people forget, but it really probably doesn't matter, is the winner of Campbell and Ryan Garcia, the WBC did order that they would fight Devin Haney and Gamboa, the winner of that. Now, will that actually happen? I don't believe so. I think the money's there for DAZN. I think they'd want to make those both fights, but I highly doubt both of those guys are going to go in there at this early stage. But I could be wrong. And then Luis Ortiz returns on Fox November 7th, I should say, as well. This is the one, like I mentioned, it was supposed to be Ruiz and Arreola, and they were just going to have a heavyweight themed card. Well, they're still having the heavyweight themed card, but I sure would have liked Ruiz and Arreola to be, excuse me. Oh, man. The main event. Frank Sanchez against Brian Howard. Prospect level, that's not that bad. And same with Michael Kofi. He's taking on Joey Ice. Joey Abel, 8 rounds heavyweight. Carlos Negron is on the undercard as well. That's about it. There's a card from Philly, card from Bonita Springs, Florida, with Canine Bunderage on it. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's about it. So a light weekend, obviously, but it is what it is. So like I said, the rest of it will be fight news and just news in general from boxers, like the one about Adrian Broner, and then also the boxing Twitter segment. I'll definitely get that in, and I won't miss that like I did last week. Judge in Cleveland yesterday, Monday, tossed professional boxer Adrian Broner in jail after holding him in contempt of court as part of a civil lawsuit filed by a woman he assaulted in some form or fashion in a nightclub in 2018. And basically, Judge Nancy Margaret Russo found that she sounds like she should have a show. It's Judge Russo. 31-year-old Broner failed to cooperate with multiple deadlines she set for him to hand over documents and other evidence showing why he was not able to pay the more than $800,000 judgment the judge ordered him to pay the woman in December. Russo called, and we've seen this now a fair amount in a variety of ways this summer as well. Not just boxers, but athletes and other people in general, just a random person putting something on Instagram and they get in trouble, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? Anyway, she cited a Instagram video post this week showing Broner handling large stacks of money after saying in an October 5th court filing that he had just over $13 in cash. Russo ordered Broner to remain in jail until he provides complete and truthful information. And she basically was like, the jig is up today. So my guess is we're going to see him back in the ring pretty soon, and I bet you he won't need what he was asking for. Remember, he kept asking for some real deal money. Okay, so Terrence Crawford and Kell Brook, which is not this weekend, it's next weekend, will be shown live on Premier Sports in the UK on November 14th. So UK fans, I know you're not happy about this. It's a 9.99 quid monthly subscription. But yeah, it'll be shown on Premier Sports in the UK November 14th. So you got to pay, well, it's actually less than it normally would be, right? It's about half the price, maybe a little less than half the price. So I guess that's the positive. Maybe you can get a free month or something. I doubt they'll do that, though. You know what I mean? Demetrius Andrade is scheduled to fight Dusty Hernandez Harrison on November 27th on the Zone, but it's possible Boo Boo will face a different opponent. When Dusty accepted the 186-pound non-title fight, he was way overweight. Demetrius Ballard is being explored. And this was a chunk of days back. This is Coppinger, October 28th. But I did remember seeing that Dusty said, I'm good, dude. What are you talking about? I'm fine. So, I don't know. Eddie Hearn has said he expects to renew the Matchroom boxing deal with Sky Sports despite the arrival of DAZN in the UK. He revealed they are already in talks about extending the contract, which is due to expire next year. That's from IFL TV there in the UK. So, obviously people, folks are probably thinking it's going to be DAZN. But if it's on DAZN, then it's just like an extra thing that you got to pay for. Would they do pay-per-views over there? I don't know, because obviously they're about to have a launch, that big launch worldwide. Michael Conlon had a fight with Isaac Dogbo scheduled for December 5th on the undercard of Tyson Fury's fight, but it's not going to happen now. Conlon had suffered an ankle ligament injury, wow, and it's been ruled out for 8 to 12 weeks. So hopefully Conlon, is able to recoup. Oh, speaking of recouping, and I know some fanboy fan base of Lomachenko's not going to like this one. Teofimo Lopez will be out 5 to 6 weeks after undergoing surgery on his right foot. So, sounds like they were both hurt in the fight, some form or fashion. This is from the Business Mirror. Bob Arum has said there are very good possibilities that they will revive the Inoue and Casamura fight for February and March. The WBA, IBO, or IBF WBO notification was due to happen in April, like I said, but the fight got a little mixed up with money. That would be just a fun fight to watch, dude. That would be just an all-action fight, man. I hope that happens. Okay, Alexander, this is a blessing in disguise. Much how some of us think Wilder not fighting Fury might be a blessing in disguise for him in his career instead of taking back-to-back losses like that. This might be good for Dillian White as far as just rest, getting some time out of the ring. Alexander Povetkin versus Dillian White 2 has been postponed as Povetkin has tested positive for coronavirus, and he's actually in the hospital. And Eddie Hearn has said the new target date is January 30th. So, and I know Eddie Hearn was already like, we'll fight Fury. We'll fight Fury. Which I can understand him saying that. It is what it is. And I don't know if I talked about this last week or not, but Steve Kim, formerly of ESPN, and also Michael Coppinger, talked about this. Jared Ennis and Thomas Delorme have a deal for December 12th on the undercard of Donaire and Ubali. The best opponent, this is Coppinger, the best opponent of Boots' career, good step up, blah, blah, blah. And it was first reported by Steve Kim. So I do like that fight, by the way. Ennis and Delorme, that's a nice step-up fight. Delorme is not a chump. He is, he just fought in August, so he's going to be fresh. It's not like he took just a crazy beating or something like that. So that's good. That's a really good fight for Boots, and that we were wondering, how they're going to operate and how they're going to get him some fights, because he is that high-risk, low-reward right now, which, especially if you're on the PBC side and you have other options that are more 50-50, it's like, hey, for just as much money, maybe even more, in a harder fight, right? Like I'm saying, if, fighting Keith Thurman on his comeback or something like that, you'd make more money than you'd make, fighting him probably. So that's good. I'm glad for Boots. That's a nice one. That's really dope. What else we got for news? I think that's it. Otherwise, like I said, I do have a fair amount of just funny stuff. Oh, well, here we go. This is from a little bit back. I don't know if I read this one. Vasily Lomachenko's manager, Igis Klimas, has claimed that his Loma's pops, said he wanted Lomachenko to withdraw from the Teofimo Lopez fight as he had 2 injections during the camp, which impacted his training on a shoulder injury. But he refused and threatened to retire if it didn't happen. That's what is being reported on ESPN anyway. So, here's some other news. Terry O'Connor, the guy who had a horrible scorecard, and although it looked like they say he was looking at the scorecard, but his thumb was kind of active, and he had his phone in his hand. Was it on the phone? Did they use apps there or something like that? But anyway, Terry O'Connor has been cleared by the British Boxing Board of Control after convincing them he did not have a phone with him at ringside when he was judging last Saturday's. It was the Ritson Vasquez, a picture of O'Connor looking at what appeared to be a phone in his hand during the 8th round. Widely circulated. Others claimed it was a trick of the light and was actually his pen and scorecard. Okay. Because I saw a thumb. But yeah, maybe it was an angle. Sometimes I saw his thumb, like when I say thumb, like paging through. But I guess they have enough video evidence. Well, okay, so they got that figured out. Now we got to figure out why the fuck his scorecard sucked. So it's all kind of there. Bob Arum, this is from a little while back. I knew Teofimo Lopez was good, but I didn't realize how good he was. Bob Arum admits he underestimated Teofimo Lopez, which is kind of crazy, being that he talked about Loma and Ali. but his own guy, he underestimated that much. The kid surprised me in the sense that I knew he was good, but I didn't realize how good he was because we never seen a performance by him like this. We always saw him go out and whack some poor, unfortunate guy out, and that's all we thought he had, but obviously he has more. Wow. So you talk about some poor sap, you're the one who fucking matched him with the poor sap, dude. Some poor, freaking unfortunate guy knocking him out. Wow, Bob. Why don't you tell us how you really feel? Oh, my goodness. All right, so I got about 9 minutes left, give or take. I'll do boxing Twitter, guys. Okay, I'm not going to miss it this time. Okay, now boxing Twitter is like some really good shit because there's some really, just awesome tweets where you're like, oh, I agree with that. But a lot of it's just some fanboy funny shit that just makes you scratch your head. And anyone that interacts on boxing Twitter, people have been sending me this stuff. They can relate to this segment. That's why some people like this segment. I promise you that right now, Al Heyman is hoping that Danny beats Errol. The fix might be in even. Heyman knows that if Errol lost to Danny, PBC can start the whole new round of in-house rematches while avoiding Crawford altogether. Don't want to break your bubble, but get ready for it. So Heyman who never wants, so this guy's probably going to say, he never wants him to lose because, the undefeated Floyd Mayweather thing. But then, now he's going to make him lose. The fix is in. And I guess Spence knows about it then? I don't know. I guess the only conspiracy angle you could take is you could always blame it on the car accident. Eddie Hearn, we do have too many belts. The UFC model, one promotional company in one belt. That's where I want to go, or that's why I want to get it in boxing. We're putting a blueprint together for that. It's something we're going to push hard for in 2021. One promotional company, one belt, running the whole sport. And Fred commented, "This is the guy DAZN hired to do their U.S. boxing, a man completely unaware of the federal law governing the scenario." Jake Donovan, one of my favorite, if not favorite, actually, in the media. WBO is calling for a resolution of 154-pound fight between Patrick Teixeira and Brian Castano. Golden Boy has 10 days to provide a date and a location. Sources have informed boxing scene, Jake, that the bout will be targeted for the undercard of Garcia Campbell, which would be dope. And this was about 6 days ago, so we should be hearing. It looks like I don't know how much more news it is. I think it's a lot of boxing Twitter. Okay, why is it a draw? How come it's a draw when one card shows the winner? Example, tonight's Showtime card. 2 judges had it a draw, but the other had it for Clayton. I never got that. A draw should be all 3 scorecards are the same, or one card for opponent A, another for opponent B, and an equal card. But you got to have 2 out of 3. That's how you get the majority. Did Lopez land Did Lopez land any highlight punches? If you look at the Loma, oh God, this is great. If you look at this Lopez and Loma highlight video, you would have thought Loma won. Well, during the fight, you would have thought Loma was winning because they kept showing his highlights. This was such a weird fight since the winner only won by activity while having almost no punches to put in a highlight video, as his shots were mostly blocked and he was punching air. Ask Loma's body how that felt. Why was Teofimo allowed to stiff arm and push Loma? He did it all night. That's illegal. Anytime Loma would get up close, he would push him and stiff arm him. Teofimo can't fight on the inside, and he got exposed hard for this. Well, both of them were doing rough stuff. So I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't have a problem with that. Not to discredit Lopez. You started discrediting him right away. But I've watched, not everybody else, Chris Lloyd. I've watched Loma since 2010, he's never looked so flat. Not at the World, not at the Olympics, not at the WBS or a pro. You just don't have those 25 years of movement patterns at 32. Oh, you just don't lose the 25 years of movement patterns at 32. I don't think he had the same movement pattern at 7 and 8, but whatever. With the life he lives. And an injury explains didn't see from him, and I don't think he'd lie about that. There's a lot of thinks. I I think, And it's funny because I go to that and I see a tweet, and it looks like a retweet or a tweet from Montero. And remember, he said that, it has to be 6-6 or 8-4. And basically, he retweeted somebody saying he didn't really land any telling shots. Which, come on, Lopez didn't land telling shots. But here's another one that's like either a tweet or retweet. It's as a media member, it's over the top. It's over the top. This is another narrative from the Loma attackers. You're really getting defensive here. There was no tourney featherweight in the 2012 or 2000 Olympic Games. AIBA, is bringing back they're bringing it back for 2020, 2021. Loma's 2012 Olympic run at lightweight had nothing to do with him not being able to make feather. The point is he did that he won the gold medals at a higher weight class, that 132, right? Okay, great. That's just too much like, dude, are you really? Like, you're still – he can make featherweight. We know he can make featherweight. We know he can make 130. I think we can all agree Lomachenko won the fight by a wide margin. The 119-109 judge should never work again. Okay, that's fair. That's absurd. They just don't know what they're watching. They don't know what they're watching, or she doesn't know what she's watching. Okay, with that scorecard, but you thought Loma won by a wide margin? Come on. This is from Tom Cody. Teofimo is managed by Split T Management. Josh Taylor is managed by MTK Globo, and Jose Ramirez is managed by what the hell is his name? But Teofimo's run at 140 is going to involve some interesting behind-the-scene politics at Top Rank, and that is something that, Okay, so this guy said, and he's, pro-Ukrainian like crazy, some crazy scoring fights with no audience during the pandemic. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to rob him. That's what he said first. He said, yep, we saw a robbery. That's not how you become an undisputed champion. This was the worst. This was at worst a draw, and provided that Loma had 3 belts versus 1, no one could contest the split decision going Loma's way. He didn't win 7 rounds, sorry. But that's what European, especially Eastern European fighters get in the U.S., even when they're the pound-for-pound best. So it's a rob. So at worst it was a draw, but he won the fight. I rewatched the fights 2 times now, scoring it blow by blow. So this guy was going blow by blow. Each round he wrote down Teofimo won 5 or 6 rounds, with the 12th round being very hard to score. It wasn't that hard to score, actually. Loma definitely had at least 6 rounds in the bag. In the bag? Where did he get him in the bag? You mean by the 11th round he had him in the bag? When you say in the bag, that means you built up rounds. See, people use this terminology. It was in the bag. What bag are you fucking talking about, dude? He didn't win a round. He maybe won the 2nd, but he didn't win another round to the 7th. So how much did he stack this shit up in the bag? Give me a break, dude. Eastern European always need to win all the rounds to get the knockout. This is a shame. I disagree, bro. I had Lopez winning 115, 113, but I swung a couple close rounds his way. It could easily gone either way. At best, there's another dude. At best, Lopez won 6 rounds. At best. But it's just because he's more marketable. This is Devin Haney. Tune in November 7th on the Zone. Watch the highest paid lightweight champion in the world. Bob and Max can kiss my cash. The highest paid. I don't think he is, actually. Tank Davis had a lot of difficulty with sentences and words at his presser. This has to be the last cut to 130. He's in hell right now, slurring words. And by the way, Steve Kim actually retweeted that. And it's going to cut me off at some point here. I'm just going to keep going and see when it happens. It's in that area. This is McGregor basically saying, hey, I'm a better boxer now than 3 years ago. And here's fam. Conor sitting down on a corkscrew uppercut. That's such like an MMA move or terminology. Conor sitting down on a corkscrew uppercut in 2020 puts Floyd Mayweather to sleep undoubtedly. In 2017, Conor still had a very bouncy, light on his feet style suitable for his kicks. Would definitely be different this time with adjustments. So he said a corkscrew uppercut is knocking Mayweather fresh the fuck out. That's what he says. Oh, wow. This was worth getting to. One more, and then we'll shut it down. Oh, it actually did shut down. Okay.